Matt Marshall of VentureBeat, who actually threw a great party last Thursday night. Thank you for having me. And, Matt, tell my viewers about VentureBeat and your launch and everything.
So VentureBeat covers startups and mainly focusing on innovation. So we're looking at the money that they get, which is usually an endorsement of the business plan, business model. And so we started out about a year ago focusing on just about every sector. So clean tech, chips, social networking. And then of course recently you've had a big wave of digital media companies that are launching, ad networks and so on. So we've been covering more of those lately. And we're trying to now create different channels for each one of those subject areas. So we're focusing on mobile, focusing on digital media, clean tech, and beginning to expand into more coverage of the other companies, the big companies like Google and Yahoo who have impact on those startups. That's basically a summary of what VentureBeat's all about.
If a company has a startup and they want to get published by you, how do they do that? Because sometimes, you have this little voice in the wilderness out there that's dying to get heard, and sometimes the tech crunches maybe don't hear them and that sort of thing. What should a person do? Or if they have a product that's, well, every entrepreneur thinks their product is viable, of course. But what should they do as an advice?
You know what? You look back at Google back in '99. They had a product and they were being given advice that they should pull in big-time marketing folks. And they brought in a guy named, I forget his first name, Epstein, who actually advised to bring in a marketer who had done Coke. And what happened was that there was a rejection by the company of such a big marketing effort. And, the company really wanted to focus on the product, and so they, had their heads down and they really emerged without a whole lot of marketing. So I think you really do have to focus on the on the product, and then only when it's ready. Just we were talking about riding the wave. When the market's ready, then you want to maybe try some of the more social networking techniques that we're discussing today, right? Message what you're doing on Twitter, for example. You have friends following you on Twitter.
Talking about VentureBeat, you guys had 600 people at your event. It was incredible. And what I thought about, because you had your event and Arrington with a bunch of other writers, but the industry that you're in itself is growing. It seems like the industry of actually chronicling other startups itself is growing. Where do you see that going next? Where do you see VentureBeat a year, 2 years, 5 years from now? I know it's kind of not the easiest question, but it's fascinating to watch the growth of companies like yours.
Yeah, well, I'm actually not sure if the industry is growing, because what we are part of is the part of the media industry, and so the media industry is in huge pain, right? So the mainstream media is going through the same changes that the rest of the digital media is going through. So, for example, advertising. And so you're seeing big advertising companies in big pain, but you have these startups like Adify creating really focused networks that are changing the game. I've mentioned Craigslist at the party as an example that's actually sucking money out of the industry, right, by making it much more efficient. So, I'm not sure we really are growing, but what we are an example of when you're talking about TechCrunch and VentureBeat as growing media groups is that we're doing it in a different way, really focused on online, and big media companies are adjusting, and they'll adapt to a certain extent.
Man, I know you want to eat and network, so do I.
Okay,
hey, thanks for your time.